So just a bit of a quick back-to-back on the two pairs of shoes I've been riding today. One relatively fresh out of the box because it's a winter-specific riding shoe. The other is a shoe I've been riding a lot all summer. So unsurprised when this kind of turn in the weather has moved my affections on a little bit, but you know, I'm going to do a little comparison between them anyway. So first up, you've got these Ion Rascals. You've got this quite thick EVA sole on there. It's still quite a grippy sole. There's a decent amount of tread on there, if you can see, so not bad for walking about in. Decent amount of toe grip. One thing, the slot is relatively central. It's quite sort of pedal specific slot position. It doesn't slip back in the shoe like sort of Specialized or some of the other more downhill orientated shoes where you can actually get sort of more mid-foot cleat position if you're coming off flat pedals. But to be honest, as a pedalling shoe, they work great, and I'm a pedaller, so I've been really, you know, it's not a complaint. All right, Tilly. It's not a complaint I've had with a shoe, but I know some people like to slide it a bit further back. But although the shoe is actually really firm for pedaling, and that deep sole makes it a little bit numb in terms of sort of traction on a flat pedal, actually the grip, the actual sole grip itself is pretty good. So when you are, you know, when you are unclipped, it still sits on the pedal nicely. You've got a lacing system, and then you've got this sort of Z strap on here. When it was new, that was a bit prescriptive. You kind of had to put it in the notch to get it to wrap over easily. But as they've worn in, it's actually become not as specific. It's sort of fit specific, and I've certainly not had any problems with them loosening off. It's feels very stiff when you're putting the power down, but there's still quite a nice lot of flexion side to side and decent mobility. And to be honest, right up until it's been getting into sort of, you know, really sloppy 5-6 degree conditions, they've been a really good shoe. I've enjoyed riding these all of summer, but inevitably when, you know, there's a good toe bumper on there for protection, so I've, you know, when it's been like rocky rides, when I've smacked my feet off stuff, it's not felt bad. If I've bottomed out, that cushioning on the base feels really good, but kind of inevitably this time of year, that mesh and the fabric on the top, you know, starts letting water in, but at least they do dry quickly and you can pull the footbed out, so not so much of a problem. You know, if you could soldier on through winter with these shoes. But on the other hand, we have these new shoes. These are Oneal Loams. I mean, they're very similar to the Session shoe. You know, they've got a single dial on the side there. It's not a full boa, it's kind of a boa copy, but it works all right. You've got that to undo. It's not quite as crisp as a boa, and I've had some moments where I've had to crank it up mid-ride. But you've got a full flap over the top of it, and as you can see, there's not much going on under the forefoot, so the fit is a little looser than you probably find with a full boa shoe or something with a toe strap on it. It's certainly not as kind of locked down as the feel on these Ion shoes. But in what these are is actually a winter-specific sort of agro-enduro shoe. So you've got a little neoprene gaiter on there, they're insulated, they're fully waterproofed, and you've got more toe room in there, and it's just a more sort of solid rubberized upper. And I have to say, I thought there really isn't much point in having a fully waterproof shoe that's still pretty low on the cuff, but I've been really impressed. I mean, the difference between these two today, it's about 9 degrees out, that foot cold, quite miserable, wet, you know, wants to go home. This foot perfectly happy, warm, feels dry. I mean, I don't know whether it is dry, but certainly feels nice and cozy, nice and warm. This foot would be happy carrying on for another couple of hours yet, and that's, you know, that's been, I've worn them a few times now, and they're really good for this weather. A little more flex in the sole than the Rascal, but you know, and you've got a very wide cleat open area there, so again, it kind of, you know, there's no danger of muck building up around your cleat, and you can actually put the sole section back in if you want a flat pedal shoe. But you've got a good toe grip as well, reasonable heel grip, so you know, when you can't get up that climb, you've actually got some good bite in the shoe. More flex than the Ion, I'd say, and also that more roomy upper means it moves around more, but you know, as a flip side of that, you're getting more feedback through the pedal, a bit more sort of sense of what's going on with the tyres, and a bit more kind of tactile relationship with the pedal. So I have to say, really impressed with these so far. I mean, you know, that waterproofing, that insulation, little neoprene gaiter and other details like that means they're not a super value shoe like the other Oneal SPD shoes I've bought, but you know, not bad for a waterproof shoe, and I reckon I'm going to be wearing these a lot come winter. So that's the Oneal Loam. Really good, promising winter shoe for the filthy months ahead, and way warmer and more sort of weather protected than I was expecting. You know, this is a good snug fitting little neoprene collar here. And then the Ion Rascal, which has been one of my go-to shoes all summer. So whether you want whether you're lucky enough to live somewhere that's a bit drier and a bit warmer most of the time, or you want a summer shoe that's really good for pedaling, I'd say similar to a 510 in terms of that pedal kick. Definitely a lot more sort of drive if you've come in from an XC background, or you just want a really good pedaling enduro shoe. Definitely be looking at those Ions. Put them on your shortlist just because they're very secure and they've got that really good stiff feel underfoot. And then if you want a bit more weather protection but without sacrificing that control or that kind of, you know, picking up that huge weight for a lumpy winter boot, then have a look at those Oneal Loams. Hope you've enjoyed this edit. I'll be doing a lot more of these back-to-back kind of things, because I think that's how I generally test stuff, because you get a really good comparison when things are side by side. So although this maybe isn't, you know, quite a straight fight because you've got a summer shoe versus a winter shoe, it does show how much better that winter shoe is in conditions like this. And obviously, you know, both the shoes have been reviewed independently within this video, so pick what suits your riding style best. Again, thanks for watching, and thanks to my Patreon sponsors for letting me do videos like this that are unpaid for, just working through all the test kit I'm being sent in. It means a massive amount to me, because I can spend more time doing stuff like this, growing the channel. So if you're not a Patreon sponsor already, and there aren't many of you, please consider putting your hand in your pocket and joining those guys on there. Thanks for your time. Please like, please share, and let me know any comments in the questions below. Thank you very much.